Hello everyone, this is King Jakes. We're back with another reaction, this time by the real Ryan. They hate when you come to work, do your job, and leave. Alright, let's react.
What's up, YouTube? So let me tell y'all something, man. In case
I like this dude's beard. Pretty cool.
a lot of you guys don't know, it's getting very difficult to find employment out here.
I think he's American, but yeah. It's very difficult to find employment here in the UK, in Great Britain.
And as a result, a lot of people are picking up side hustles and becoming entrepreneurs and finding many different ways to make money. I think that's one of the best things that you can do, because to be quite honest with you, people absolutely hate it when you come to work, you do your job, and then you leave.
That's the proper way to work though, isn't it? That's how I worked on my old jobs. Came to work, worked, and then left. You don't pay me to socialise, you pay me to work.
I can't stand that. And I'm going to tell you why. I had this problem a lot, okay? I've had at least 3 different jobs where I've done just that. Come to work on time, do my job professionally, highly knowledgeable, and then I leave. I'm not somebody who likes to be a part of a clique or a faction. I'm not somebody who likes to hang out with you at after hours, or what do you call those things? Happy hours. You know, I don't come to any of your social functions. I'm not that guy. I come to work, I do my job, and then I'm gonna leave. People can't stand that, particularly your management, your supervisors. They can't stand people like that, because what you really need to understand is they want to hold you back. They don't really want you to advance. Quick story. So I do armed security. I work in primarily in federal government buildings. Okay, I have done some commercial and private sector security, but for the better
Hey, I did security as well. Hey.
part of the last 20 years, I've done armed security in federal government buildings. Okay, this requires you to have multiple background checks from multiple different agencies in order to be cleared to get into those buildings. Now, I work in a supervisor capacity. That means I'm responsible for a shift, an entire shift of officers. And because of the times that I worked, I quite often was responsible for an entire previous shift who was being held over or worked longer hours than normal. Okay. My resume, now mind you, while I've been in this industry for 20 years, I'm also a military veteran. I also have 2 years worth of college. And as I previously mentioned, government clearances and multiple background checks that are always clear for me to get the positions that I need to work in, the positions that I've been working in for the better part of 20 years. Now, at my last job, my supervisor, who was the facility commander, he had been at that particular contract for 35 years, okay? He was the facility commander. We had a deputy project manager as well as a project manager. Both of them were bitches. And when I say bitches, I mean these are the type of people who behave in a manner that is very manipulative, for lack of a better word. So when I say bitches, I'm not talking about a particular attitude. I'm talking about a behavior, a way of behaving that is equivalent to a bitch. Okay. So with that being said, in a supervisory position,
Oh! I love the way he said it so casually. Oh dear. Oh, let's continue.
I'm only I have enough experience, over 20 years of experience in this industry or parallel industry, where my supervisor and the deputy project manager and contract manager on the site where I worked They were
Sorry,
intimidated.
got the giggles. Oh, it's just the way he said it. These pigeons. Oh, oh dear. Oh, I needed that, dude. That cheered me up. Oh, okay, alright. Calm down, calm down. Turning red like a tomato. Oh my days. Oh, oy vey. Sorry. Alright, let's continue.
Me. Because
Oh,
all of them are at least 20 years my senior, and they see that I have the same level of experience that they have. Okay. So for them, they perceive me as a threat. My supervisor, the facility commander, perceives me as a threat to his position because he doesn't have the clearances and background checks that I have because he's so ingrained in that particular contract that he has a quid pro quo relationship with some government employee or the client, should I say, who makes sure they make it a little bit easier for him to remain on the contract. And he's done some pretty fucked up things where he should have been terminated and not even allowed to work in the industry anymore. But because he has a quid pro quo relationship with a Fed who represents the client's interest, he uses that quid pro quo relationship to keep him staffed. The
ah,
deputy project manager.
ah. Backhanded deals. Bribery. Ah. Maybe not bribery, but you get the point. Yeah.
Again, looked at me immediately and was like, yo, it's no way that this guy has this kind of resume and he's only, I'm gonna give away my age to you guys. I'll be 44 years old this coming Monday. Okay. And I've already got over 20 years of experience in this industry. Now you can imagine, like I keep saying, these guys are 20 years my senior. So when you see somebody who has as much experience as I have in this particular career field, you expect that person to be in their mid 50s, mid to late 50s. Okay. That's what you expect to see. Maybe I'm a rarity. I don't know. But I've got over 20 years and I'm only about to turn 44 years old this coming Monday. Okay. So you can imagine how that makes somebody feel. To get back on topic, when I say they hate when you come to work, do your job, and then you leave, the reason is because that they do not have an opportunity to find out about you. When I say find out about you, I don't mean that in a good way. Your supervisor, your management, they're not looking for you to interact with them so that they can determine whether they like you or not. Believe me, they've already made a decision about you based on the qualifications that you've met for the job that you're working in. They've already made a decision about you. In this particular case, these guys already knew that I was a threat to their position. Not only do I not take off of work and show up on time, I'm very knowledgeable about my job, I'm very professional about my job, and I don't get myself involved in any cliques. All of the officers that work for me, they understood what was expected when I was a supervisor on duty, and at the same time, they respected it. Now, I would still have everyday conversations with these officers. We could talk about sports, we could talk about life experiences, television shows, you name it, the typical stuff that people talk about at work. I can do that with my officers, and it was cool. I allow my officers speak freely, like a barbershop conversation. However, all of the officers that work for me understood that when I'm a supervisor on duty, you have a job to perform just like I do. So long as I don't get questioned by the client about why you were not performing the job that you're here to perform, you and I are going to get along fine. They understood that. They respected that. I did not micromanage my officers, and that made the other supervisors and management hate me because I had such a good relationship with the people that I supervised and not a relationship of a dictator. You know, I'm not somebody that's going to micromanage you. I'm not barking orders at you. I'm going to come around.
Yeah, so he seemed like he was pretty chill. He seemed like if you just do the job properly, then we'll get along fine. Pretty cool to me. Seems like a cool guy to me.
I'm going to sign the paperwork that I need to sign. I'm going to make sure that you have everything that you're needed to perform the function that you're meant to perform while you're on my shift and I'm the supervisor on duty. And outside of that, I'm not going to bother you so much. I'm not standing over your shoulder. Not you understand the job. If you've been doing the job for at least a year, you understand how security works. It's all the same thing regardless of what contract you're on. That's the only thing that really changes is the contract that you're on, maybe the management and the supervisors that you have, but your function in the field, it is always the same. Here's what I mean. As a result of my relationship with the officers that I supervised, the facility commander, who was my direct supervisor, he couldn't stand me. You know what I mean? And it took me way longer than expected to recognize that this guy couldn't stand me because of the way that he did it. He's very manipulative. He if he has an issue with you, what he likes to do is he likes to create confusion that will directly affect you to try to see how you're going to respond. He likes to elicit that emotional response from you. I'm the consummate professional, so I'm never going to exhibit my emotional responses at work. Okay? So when he realized that he couldn't get the Southeast DC out of me, which is what he was searching for, he knew that he was dealing with a professional. He had to find some other way to try to get at me, which was strange because you should want your somebody that you supervise to come to work, do their job, and leave. Not be involved in any cliques, not involved in any factions, not show any favoritism to any particular officers. But no, these people want you to hang out with them. They want you to discuss your personal issues with them, what's going on in your life, so they can have in their perception some type of leverage over you. They want to know what's going on in your marriage. What's your relationship with your children? Are you looking for other employment? Are you planning on staying here? They want to know these things so they can determine what your vulnerabilities are. Okay. And when you come to work, do your job, and you leave, you're not giving them an opportunity to know these particular things. They have to take you at face value, and they don't want to take you at face value. They've already created some type of perception about you in their mind. So they just want to kind of reinforce whatever negative perception that they've created of you in their mind based off the fact that your qualifications are as strong as you are. And I can tell you guys, and for those of you who have experienced a similar issue, I want you to leave that in the comments section.
I didn't experience that, but what I experienced when I worked in security was, hold on, move this slightly. What I experienced was constant overtime. So I'd work pretty much Monday to Friday, right? And I would do 3 morning, 2 nights. So one of the days I actually worked like a double shift because I'd go home, sleep, and then I'd have to go back to work instantly. So yeah, it was crazy, man. But they constantly wanted me to work weekend all the time. They were always like, can you come in? Always had to think of an excuse. I got to do this, or I got to do that, or I'm at a gathering, or blah, 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 blah. It was really annoying. And then on 2 occasions, they made me work an illegal shift. I'll explain. They made me work illegal hours. So basically, I think the maximum you can work in England is, in a constant security shift, is 16 hours, maybe 18, but that's it. They made me work twice, 24 hours. Twice. And one of the reasons was because another security guard, his child was sick or something. And I'm like, okay, why can't he take them to the doctors, come back home, and then come here? Oh, no, it takes time. Oh, la, 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 la. It doesn't take 24 hours. There's no way it takes 24 hours, dude. My man was sitting at home watching Netflix, playing PlayStation. What do you mean? Yeah, I remember that company, dude. I'm not going to name them, but they know who they are. Yeah.
If you are professional, you are qualified to do your job. You're professional at doing it. You show up to work on time, if not early. You're not somebody that's taking off all the time or making up all these petty excuses why you're not coming to work, and you do your job to a T, and at the end of the day, you're gone. You're not letting anybody in your personal business. These people will hate you because, like I said, they are looking for any type of negative information they can find on you to use it as leverage. If they find out you're highly qualified for the position that you're in, they also realize that you're highly qualified for many other positions that you may apply for. They want to know, are you applying for other jobs? Now, they ain't going to ask you that question directly. They're going to try to figure it out by different means, but they're going to want to know if you're applying for other jobs. And if you are, they're going to do their best to try to either, one, have you terminated before that other job comes through, or two, they're going to try to ruin the opportunity for you to get that other job. And I've seen that done as well. It hasn't happened to me, but I've seen them do it to officers that they terminated before. Okay, they want to know what's going on in your marriage. They want to know what your monthly expenses are. They want to know all of these things so they can try to tie you to that particular job, and they can have some type of leverage over you, because they believe that if they can tie you to that job, then they can treat you any kind of way that they want to treat you, and you'll be almost forced to accept that negative treatment because your options are limited. That was never the case for me, but I can assure you this is what they're doing. So believe me, if you're the type of person who comes to work, you do your job, and then you leave, you can forget about it. These guys, in very, very few instances, are they going to like you. Now, I don't want to sound misogynistic or even sexist with this next comment, but the only exception to this is if you are female. If you are a female, 9 times out of 10, there is a male supervisor or some male in the management staff that has, at a minimum, taken a liking to your aesthetic or your physical appearance. And in his mind, he will try to use his perceived authority to get closer to you. And if you just so happen to be like me, you come to work, you do your job, you leave, you're not a part of any clique or faction, you may get a little bit farther because he feels like he can isolate you and have a better opportunity to achieve his objective. Okay? However, if you are a man, and if you, I don't mean to pat myself on the back, I am 6 feet tall, I am athletically built. For the ladies that may be viewing this video, drop in the comment section whether you believe I'm attractive, I'm cute, whatever term it is that you guys use to determine the attractiveness of a man. People are often intimidated by people like me in the workplace, and it's just as simple as that. I'm not sure if there's any way around it. As I said, that was just one of many different stories where I've experienced the exact same thing. Like, you get there, people automatically think you're just another body to fill a post, or you're just another person to fill a position, and then they come to realize how professional you are, how knowledgeable you are.
Alright guys, I'm going to end the video there because I feel like he's just going over the same thing, really. And he's just saying the same thing. So, yeah. I'm just doing random content, so I know this one is a bit random. Did make me laugh, though, at the start. I like the title, though. It's very catchy. Yeah, he's obviously had a lot of interaction because of that title. So yeah. Alright guys, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Do you agree with the guy? Do you disagree? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Comment down below. Let me know. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.